Hi, everybody. We're so happy to be
Hey,
here
Gabby.
tonight. And hi, Andy. How are you?
Good. How are
Oh,
you?
great. I'm busy, but I'm good. And I want to say a quick hi to Joshua. Hi, Joshua.
Hi guys.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, to all of our viewers, we are so excited to have a special guest tonight. But I do want to tell you we're missing our third wheel here. We're missing Kevin because he realized that he's going to be jetting off to one of his wonderful adventures and wasn't going to be able to join us tonight. So he's really bummed, but we want to wish him well and have a great adventure out there with all these wonderful things he's going to come back and tell us about next week. But we are so honored tonight to have Joshua Inacio. Inacio?
Inacio.
Okay, Inacio. Okay. I knew I would screw it up even though I practiced, right?
That's
But
like me and our sponsor, though.
oh yeah, we're gonna make
Yeah.
her say her name again tonight because I'm gonna make you do that. I see Larissa's face. Hi, Larissa. So anyway, we are so excited to have you, Joshua. And you have an incredible story. You are a sound and vibrational healer, a teacher, a channeler for decades. And hi, Julie. How are you? And I love what you do. I went on and saw your YouTube and listened to the music, and I know that heals the soul. That it's so healing, and I imagine there's so much that can come out of that. The only thing that I use is a tuning fork.
Oh, sure.
That's it. But we have a lot of questions for you tonight. And I'm so excited. There's so many things when I was reading your bio about your transparent tarot cards. I'm enthralled over that. And I really am. And all these great things that you do and channeling, which is something that has been a topic a lot on our show. But can you give a little bio about you to our audience? That'd be really great if you hear a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, first of all, to anyone watching this, whenever that is, thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me share, both of you. Well, me, I am 40 years old. I have 3 lovely kids at home. And let me see. I think I was one of those people that always felt there was something else going on. I wasn't one of those, super psychic kids you read about, and maybe you guys were. I was not that. I was a shy child, absolutely. I can even remember walking through a science laboratory at school when I was 7. And you know what I did? I actually reached back on my shoulder, and I knew that putting my hand there would make it better. And it was, and I remember thinking that. I was 7 years old. Now, my mother, she did spiritual healing. She was a member of the NFSH, the National Federation of Spiritual Healers in London. And I would go, she would volunteer at there was a huge metaphysical fair in London, still is, in May. It goes all week. And she'd go and volunteer there. And I would go and see her when she was there, and she'd be standing over people in a chair like this, doing healing. And I'd be walking up and down the aisles, like they have. And I'd see her doing this, and I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And she'd see me, and she'd like, like that. And so, from there, and, just going to see some of the things around there, she would, she'd have crystals at home, pendulums, things like that. So where I'm going with this is spirit was talked about. It was talked about. My house wasn't the weird, wacky, woo-woo place that my poor children have to grow up in, right? But, spirit was talked about. Adjunct to that, and bear in mind I'm 40, I only discovered this a few years ago. My father is a medium. And I'm like, I feel like that could have come up in conversation somewhere, but and how it came up in conversation is I met one of my first teachers who who is a channel. I don't know if he still does. And it was just the most wonderful experience. I was 28, 29, and I just experienced it, and went to visit my dad, and we're sitting at the table. I said, "Oh, I just met this guy, and he channels," and I'm like, "Wow, wow, wow." He goes, "I'm a channel." I'm like,
Wow.
"What?" And then I'm like, "Could you do it then?" And like that, I'm talking to my grandma, who I never met.
Wow.
Oh my goodness!
Now, we could slightly go off on a tangent here, because I do draw a little bit of a distinction between channeling and mediumship, just the way I understand it. Maybe we'll go there later. But that was there. I should say about music as well, just to kind of tie this together, is just going back to me as a child, and I would find that the words that adults would say to me wouldn't match what I was feeling from them. This discongruence, and so it kind of leads to this somewhat lack of safety, lack of trust, just in life and the world. But I found that music I could rely on. Like, music would pretty much always be. I would pretty much always feel what I felt from music. And so, I could talk to you about Michael Jackson, Huey Lewis, Massive Attack, DJ Shadow, getting into rock bands and stuff, that I would feel something. And so this kind of came together in my late 20s. I was trained by channels. Channeling didn't show up for me. Sound and vibration was natural. I don't know why, but that's just very easy and natural for me. Channeling showed up for me when I was 34, and we had our second child. Now, you can tell I'm a Generation Xer because we have children, right? No longer females have children. We have children, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway. So I'm walking around the kitchen with my second child strapped to me, because I could get him to sleep. And I was walking around the kitchen for something like 45 minutes. It was one of those nights. And round me, like a cloud, came my master guide and just conveyed to me, it's time. And I had a group planned that I was going to do something more sound and vibrational about 3 weeks from then. And Spirit said, "No, you're going to channel. You're going to channel for people then." And so it's really been a trial by fire. I want to say every time I channel, as opposed to read or do vibrational work or give attunement, every time I channel, it's the first time. People talk about being an advanced channel or a beginner or an intermediate. I'm like, no, every time is the first time for me. I told you I ramble.
It's okay with me. I'm loving everything you're telling me. The one thing that you do have 3 children, and I saw a picture of a travel bracelet, which I said, that is like the cutest thing ever. So which child did that wonderful paper bracelet for you?
That was Sophia. Sophia is my eldest. She just turned 8. She is, they're all just delightful. They're all delightful. Sophia's my eldest. She's our only girl. They miss me because I travel for like a week and a half at a time. And I hope to shift that slightly as life goes on, but they miss me, and I came home and I was away for Valentine's Day, and that's what she'd made for me.
That was so cute. And so you're in is it Kansas City?
Actually, we're in Lawrence, Kansas. It may as well be Kansas City. Lawrence is where KU is, the university. So it's a very liberal. What's the word? The word is failing. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, the word is where there's a great breadth of people and things that go on.
Diverse.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. But one thing I wanted to let everybody know is that Joshua does readings and will do work remotely with you, and so you can book with him. And Andy, do you have all of his links up and all of that?
I sure do. Everybody, you could check in the bio, in the description, in the link of this live video down below, and you'll have Joshua's Facebook page and your Healing Center page, your website, and it's joshuainacio.com.
Yep, that's right. Yes.
Correct? Okay, and then I'll probably just post it up here on the screen for everybody to see it too, and in the comments.
Thank you, Andy.
That's great. Thank you, Andy. And so you do workshops, public speaking, you do groups, but it's vibrational healing. I have a lot of questions for you. If we can start that, and
Sure.
anything you want to go talk about, we will go to, because I just love it all. Let's see. I'm looking at your questions, and you do say, how do you help people, which would be really great to know. How do you do it? How do you help them?
Right. Well, I'm going to start by going off on a tangent here.
All right.
There's this word we have in our language, in our vernacular, healing, right? And it's a very amorphous word. I hope and wish in our future, because English is the dominant language on the planet, I hope that we, like the Eskimos, evolve lots of different words for that word, healing, because it can mean so many things. So if I can just put a stamp on that word that it means feeling better, as opposed to I had a broken leg and now it's fixed. Healing, in terms of healing, is and feeling better. I am invested in finding whichever someone's door is to that. In New Thought, one defines healing as a return to natural origin. I like that. I like that definition. Now, the thing is about humans is we've got this other thing going on, our ego and our left brain, our analytical side, which is very sharp and it's very cunning. And it can recognize when something's coming to serve it or love it or support it, and it goes and shuts down, doesn't it? So I see my job as someone who facilitates feeling better as finding what someone's door is. And so I will come at it from a sound and vibrational way where there is no information. I'll come at it from an informational way. I'll come at it from a somatic physical way. I'll come at it from silence. But I think that's my first step. And it's actually harder with people who know a lot because their ego is that more prepared, as it were. And forgive me using the word ego. It's not a derogatory thing as well. But to try and answer your question, I think one of the ways to support people is, if you can imagine, we're like a Russian doll. We've got all these different layers to get to our center. I think I'm pretty good at supporting people to get into those layers, because a lot of what we're looking for, a lot of what influences us, whether positively or adversely, is into some of those second, third, fourth layers. I think I'm pretty good at finding that. I think I'm also pretty good at supporting people to ground ideas and so on. We talk about channeling like it's a spiritual feat or whatever, but a definition of channeling I was given once is to channel is to be a bridge from one frequency to another. And if you think about anything that's ever existed, look, I've got my car keys here, right? Right. I'm going for a mundane object right now. This was channeled. This came from nowhere into somewhere. This came from nothing into something. So if someone's got an idea or a vision or a business or a project or something, there are those of us that are good at bringing something into form and basically making it happen. And that's a lot of what I do for people as well. A lot of ways I support people. And then, of course, I do the body work and healing and so on. I'm pretty good at moving a lot of density out of someone's body, because once the etheric debris is out of the way, the body's own ability to put itself back together is a lot more in operation, I would say.
So are you saying, Joshua, like what you just described is what I always think of a clearing an aura and
Yes.
clearing out all of that.
Yes.
And we have healing sessions here. We have a lot of pranic healers and stuff who will grab it and take it out and so on and forth. They have different ways that they do that. I'm an energy healer, so I'm always putting the energy in. So I love the idea of healing the body and healing the aura.
Yeah.
And so you do that by energy, or is it always music, or
it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. So the thing about sound and vibrational, there's that word healing. I don't have a better word for it right now.
Fine.
But that modality is, and some people will get upset when I say this, but I don't think sound heals. Okay, I think it's a disrespect to the light within any of us, the presence of God within any of us, to say that sound heals. I don't think that. I think sound is a magnifier. Sound is a focuser for something coming, for that loving energy presence. Okay, well, whatever we call it. But I think that's what sound does, because sound is, sound is the disruption of air particles. Sound is physical. You can feel sound. That's the really great thing about it, for this purpose. So, the first thing I would do, if I had someone with me, say, is I would do a clearing of some sort, and I think if we can bring this conversation slightly more into the new paradigm, we're not really talking about clearing so much. We're talking about alchemizing. So we're taking something that's maybe dense and bringing it to a higher version of itself, because you can't get rid of energy. So I like to use some of the louder sounds and some of the more deeper pitch sounds, so like a didgeridoo and a gong and so on, because that really brings the spirit more into the body, and two, it starts to break up some of these dense packets of energy that then they can be brought into another form. After I've done that, I can do a balancing on someone, because I don't believe the human system is used to being cleared so quickly. We're creatures of habit and form and pattern and familiarity and so on. Okay, so if we don't balance people after we do a rapid clearing, then people, like any of us, will go and do exactly what got us not clear in the first place, because that's what we know. And just because the vessel is clear, the mind is sharp as ever and used to things as sharp as ever. So what I do after that, and this is maybe where modalities and trainings and philosophies differ, what I do after that is I start to tune the vessel in the direction of the higher self, the higher aspect. And I'll take it as far as I feel is mine to do. And it feels just like tuning a guitar or a violin or something like that. There is this feeling you have when you're tuning an instrument of, yes, that's right, move on. That's right, move on. That's right, move on. And I really see the human vessel as an instrument. And I'm going off track again here, but uniqueness is so important. To understand one's uniqueness, accept one's uniqueness, is so massively important. It's so important because God spits out 8 billion children at a time, right? And we're all unique. We've got our own thing to do, and we influence each other. And without one of us or any of us being what we're supposed to be, sorry, let me backtrack. The more that we do what we're supposed to do, be what we're supposed to be, the more other people are going to do that, and everything gets better. I should probably pause.
You know what? I am writing notes, because when you said sound is focused, and we talk about that, I was just like, yes, it is, because of the people that chant, that they're focusing, and they are using that sound to get to where they want to be. And it's always going to a higher vibration. Joshua, I want to say I talk about this a lot when about healing. And I tell people, do you kind of understand that when we have faith healing here in the US at churches, you're going to see the music get higher and a frenzy starts with the energy and it gets higher and higher. And then the people start saying the crutches fly and they go, we're healed. And I go, there is something to that sound, raising the vibration that gets you into that healing state. Not to say you couldn't do it at a different, milder thing. So that's where you are, where you're saying we're all unique and we get all tuned to our own, musical notes, I guess. And, but I do notice that sound raises that vibration so high that we can get into getting some healing. So what is your take on that?
On faith healing and so on?
Well,
or the application of
sound
music.
getting...
Yeah. And it's funny, as you describe it, I've never seen faith healing happen, or never been there in person and so on. But you know what I have seen, and you're calling mind to it. I actually had the opportunity to go to Bali with my parents when I was a lot younger. I'm smiling because I was at the age I brought my skateboard with me. That's what I did. I brought my skateboard to Bali. And anyway, but we got to see firewalking. And I can still remember the chant. I'm not going to embarrass myself by doing it right now, but I can still remember the chant. And what my mum said afterwards, because they did it, and then it actually was slightly different to firewalking. They're more kicking it around. Not really seen anyone do that before. But she said, and it's interesting the words you've just said, because she goes, yeah, they work themselves into a frenzy and then they can do it. So if I can just take that word frenzy for a moment and respond there, and also just go somewhere slightly else with it. Frenzy, that's a slightly charged word there, But if I can just take a different slice of that word and say and talk about brainwave pattern activity, then let's say right now we're in beta, right? We're agreeing, disagreeing, conversing, and so are you guys watching this, right? If we would do some simple exercises, and it would take most people 8, 9, 10 minutes. We'd shift into alpha. And when we're in alpha, that's when we're getting messages, intuition. That's when the right brain is kind of clicking in, as it were. But that's also when the body is acting differently. It's putting itself back together. And I also think things happen esoterically then, like vortices open, and that's when more energy can enter the body and take over the vessel and so on. And so let me just come back to that and say something else. I think music is a foundation. Music, sound, vibration used in a certain way is foundational. Foundational insofar as it can bring energy up. Yeah. It can bring energy up. It can combine people. It can bring, let's say if Kevin was here, there would be 4 of us. For example, it can combine for human energies. I say human because we're on this plane, and there's something in that. Where 2 or more gather in thy name, there I am. There's an exponential in that, and I don't understand it. I don't understand the energetics of it. I see it all the time. I don't understand it. But if we put a couple of these things together, music as a foundational connective form, plus someone in a different brainwave state of activity, to the point where maybe they're not feeling pain, to the point where the body is just vibrating that much higher and faster, interesting things can happen. And that's why I'm challenged to say that sound heals. I'm like, well, if sound heals, then I could, we just look. I'm just feeling better.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, forgive my facetiousness, but I think people get the wrong idea about these things. Look, there's a drum behind me that someone much more intelligent and devoted than me made. But if I'm going to give homage, I'm going to give homage to the person that made it,
Right.
what they put into it, rather than the object. And I'm actually mean that with the greatest of respect.
Right. And I'm always talking to people when they have pendulums or whatever they're doing, and I'm saying, you guys, these are all tools. They're gifts to us to use. But we've got the whole universe is full of this energy that we can manipulate, that we can use, that we can heal with, that we can communicate with the other side with. So we have to kind of put that in perspective. Some people want to almost worship their tarot cards or this or that or the other. I say, you guys, there is a higher thing here, and there's all this energy, and these are tools, and do not set limits. That's my thing. I tell everybody, do not set limits as to what can be done in this universe, and use those tools, and don't just say, I can only use this to write with. I know what else I could do with this, but no, I was in a what do you call it, martial arts.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I knocked out a sergeant in the police department with it.
Well, that escalated quickly.
It was. I'm sorry. But anyway, I always tell people that don't set limits to what we can do, and do know the place of all these things, which I think we can say sound and all of that are tools for us to help people, tools of us to manipulate the energy and all of that.
Can if forgive me interrupting someone, I've just seen a comment pop up, and there we go. Hi, Larissa. She's just asked, I don't know if you guys can see that, but she's asked certain ways of sound heal, right? And my response is yes and no. Yes, because they do. No, because if you take someone in a very cold state, distracted, fearful, and so on, it can't go in. So much of what we call sound healing is actually the preparation of the vessel and the body to open up and receive it. There's an old fable. I'll be quick. The sun and the wind have a competition, and they see a man on the ground, and they say, whoever gets this man to remove his coat is the winner. And so the wind goes first and blows and blows and blows, and all the man does is pull his coat tighter around him, and then he gives up. And then the sun goes next and just radiates warmth, and of course the man gets hot and he takes off his coat. And so if you consider, if we're not feeling good, there's so much I could say about this, but if we're not feeling good, it's like we've got this coat around us. We've put on this protective form. We've gotten a little, as it were, solidified with denser patterns and so on. But let's just say you try to give someone advice who was upset or angry or feeling a victim, which now we all get like that. You don't give someone advice at that point. They're not going to hear it. You may have the best advice in the world, but if it's not going to go in, it's not going to go in. With someone in that state, you need to listen to them. You need to let them talk. They need to be heard, and then at the right time, you can share advice and guidance. So, Larissa, that's where I'm at with healing frequencies.
I love that. I love that, because if you are not receptive, you're not going to benefit, and you're not going to hear it. Just like the one thing that I love is when an old wonderful song comes on from my teenage years or something, and I am ready, I'm just there. I'm ready to hear it, and I really hear it, and that changes so much for me. So we can change our moods and things like that if we are receptive to it. But you know what we have to do right now is we have a sponsor, and Joshua, we're going to have Andy try to pronounce her name again and do the commercial.
Well, you can't see me blushing, but there's a pun. Here's some blush. Uh, our sponsor tonight is
It's not
Kimberly.
blush. It's eyeshadow.
Oh, yeah. See, here's a guy talking about makeup or eyeshadow.
You're doing better than I would, Andy.
Sorry, guys. Kimberly Boshu, she has this amazing shop on Etsy, etsy.com. You can find all the links in the comments below. And she has coupons for giveaways, sweepstakes. Um, like, for example, this blush, I recently came out and it was called, I believe it was Snow Moon.
Snow moon.
Yeah. And her shop is called the Checkered Lily Apothecary. So you can feel free, click on the links below. And I know part of the sales isn't part of the sales going to donation.
Yeah, charity for homeless.
Yeah,
For the homeless. And so we should have that link on there. I know I shared it before. So was it Chicago or something like that? I'm so
right.
sorry. I didn't write it down. So we fail. I fail at this commercial stuff. But, but anyway, Kim makes the most beautiful, all kinds of cosmetics.
Oh,
She has been on BuzzFeed, and she is a wonderful, I want to say why soulful came up person. And so her cosmetics are on Etsy, and she has lots of specials. But do go and like her Facebook page along with Joshua's and along with Kevin's, okay? And Joshua, you have a YouTube channel that we want to get some likes there also. So the link will be there to please go and watch some of his videos and also like that channel or subscribe to it. That'd be great. Joshua, if you're ready for another round, I really want to know about channeling. Like,
sure.
How did you talked about it a little bit about how you channeled, but can you tell us a little bit more?
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm writing notes.
All right. So, gosh, I would call myself a conscious channel, which is interesting because more recently people have been calling me a trance channel. And why I say that is I am this that's talking right now is around, to a degree, 40%. No, what numbers are ridiculous here, but I don't completely zip off and come back. My father does. You know, when he's finished connecting, he'll come back and he's, you know, what's just happened here. So part of me is still around. If we're going to talk about channeling, we should talk about the realm that one connects with, and we should talk about the form that it channels into. The realm that I connect with is, it's more complicated than I have the frame of reference for. I connect with the ascended masters, I connect with the archangels. Have there been other beings of that frequency that I've worked with? Yes. If I say ascended masters and archangels, it's more just because it's easier for me to say that. So yes, the Hathors, the Syrians, a Polarium has come through before. Absolutely, yes. I would more be expecting Archangel Michael to be the first guide that comes through. One, because my mental body is at ease with that, and two, because his energy kind of calibrates me to the people that are around at the time. So what kind of happens is energy comes into my body, and my just general frequency raises pretty high, pretty fast. The way that I've been channeling in groups for the past 5 years or so, getting on for 6 years, is I'll have a group in front of me, anywhere from 10 to 20 people at this time, and I'll have a chair next to me. I'll start channeling, and people will come and sit in the chair next to me. There's two things will happen at that point. Firstly, the spirit through me is going to start talking to them, but also they're going to use my physical vessel to transmit energy and work on their electrical field. And the reason for that, and I've kind of observed this over the years, and actually had it confirmed through something else. The reason for that is just like we were just talking about with advice and so on, and receiving advice. They ask you questions, spirit answers them. They get the answer that they need. But what's going on is spirit's kind of working on their electrical field and pulling things out and affirming parts of it and so on, so that they can receive the essence of what they're asking for. Because they're asking for information, but they're on a higher level. They've come to receive essence. They've come to receive something so that they can walk out of that room different. And so that's all happening. And the other thing that doesn't get talked about enough in the conversations about channeling is when one goes and attends a group channeling, by the end of that group, everyone is channeling. And wow. I don't know if that weirds anyone out to hear, but if you think about it, look, all of us, we're channeling right now because there's a spirit in our body, animating our body. If the spirit left the body, we'd keel over and be inanimate. So we're already channeling something right now. I do believe we have the capacity several times a day to enter into our fifth dimensional version of ourselves, which is a higher, purer version. So I believe it's always happening. And those of us who do this professionally, we're just doing it more often. We're just used to doing it more often. And then I think that's the only distinction. Like tomorrow, I'm going to take my car into to my friend Mark. He's a mechanic. Could I work on my car myself? Actually, I know I couldn't. No, I don't know anything about cars. But he has spent time working on cars. He knows cars. I trust him taking my car there. And there's an analogy to that. That I think is important with channeling, because if one's a channel, we're a spirit driving a car, a body, as it were, and all we do as a channel is we get in the passenger seat and let a better driver take over.
Joshua, I do have a question quickly, because I know when I was in my mediumship development group, we did experience some channeling. And it was based off the teachings from Lilydale, New York, if you're familiar with that.
Familiar with the name only, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during the channeling, they said there was different stages of it. Like there was twilight channeling or conscious channeling, trance channeling. I had heard that, if you had fear, you could tell the other side, hey, I don't want to see myself channel. I want to just go off somewhere. Take me somewhere, block me from that, or I can choose to see it. What's your take on that?
Oh, I wish it had been that tactile and tangible for me. I'm delighted that there are these schools and places to study. And, people always ask me about Arthur Finley in England, which I only discovered a couple of years ago. I never knew about it.
No.
Even my aunt has been there. But what I want to say is, and sometimes maybe I'm not the best person to speak about this, but I'll just give my mine. That channeling showed up. I was not looking for it, and I've followed the natural course of it. I did go to a mentor friend of mine, just getting on for 6 years ago, because I was scared. And I was scared because I'd known a channel before who had not maybe practiced enough due diligence, and some things had happened, and then that there were some things to clear up from, shall we say. So he said, look, make sure you do this, make sure you do this, make sure you do this, and then get experience, get experience, get experience, get experience, get experience, get experience. And so that's what I've done. And so I make sure I'm connected. I say connected before I say protected. That's maybe another conversation, but I would say connection is protection. I should maybe clarify that. But anyway. What I'm trying to say, Andy, is that I analogize it like we're all different instruments in an orchestra.
Right.
If I am a tuba, let me go. If I'm a trumpet, okay, then I want to.
Me.
Oh well, if we're a trumpet, then well, hey, we can play jazz. We can do the wah 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 thing. We can play fanfares and so on. That's what a trumpet can do. But a trumpet cannot and will never be a violin. It will never be a double bass. It will never be a timpani. And it won't be the conductor either. So as the years have gone by, you know, I've settled into channeling a bit more, with some expectancy of the sort of thing that happens, and some expectancy that each time something's going to happen, which I'm not, I'm not expecting. That's paradoxical, but you know, when you know something's going to happen that you're not expecting, you're a little more relaxed with it. Right. So there was never a point for me where I decided which type of channel I was going to be.
Oh,
never.
I see. Gotcha.
I've got to say something. The one thing that I noticed years ago was when I was doing readings, I first started typing them. And people would ask me, back in the old days, right? And people would ask me a question, and I'd go back and I'd say, who wrote this? Right. Who wrote? Right. It doesn't sound like me. But now I don't do that. I do, you know, audio and in person, all that. But what happens with me, because I feel like we're all different, you may be present and remember everything in 24 hours. You know, I don't know a thing I said. And even Kevin, and I don't want to speak for him, but he did tell me once that when he's doing mediumship and he gets a word in, he's got to say it right away so he doesn't lose it. And I said, why do I have amnesia? But I go, you know, I do thousands of readings. I go, can you imagine having that stored? You know,
right.
But every time I do a reading, it's like brand new. And it's really bad because the people will expect that you remember I'm married and I've got kids, I got a dog, and this is what's happening. I'm like, I don't even know you. So I feel like there's so much to this. And I feel like that's really kind of strange, but I can really just keep it. Sometimes I lose it right away, or 24 hours, it's a wiped, it's gone. So I don't know, but do you remember everything, Joshua, when you channel?
After a group, I have the complete polarizing experiences. So people always come up to me and want to talk about something after a group. I would too. And they'll say, yes, this was said and this was said. And I'm like, yes, I remember that. I remember that. And I remember what I was feeling. And then sometimes someone will say something. I'm like, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. But you know, I want to just go over something you've just said, because I feel it'd be useful for someone that might watch this. This thing about typing is a good way to receive messages, because in this day and age, we're so used to typing, we're familiar with the QWERTY keyboard, that we can sort of go into autopilot. It's a little easier to get out of the way with that. And, you know, writing with a hand is almost a little slow for if we're trying to get messages. And some people say left hand, that's a good idea too. But a good way for just getting messages out is typing. Yes, sorry, I just wanted to affirm that.
Yeah, especially I was always a fast typist. I was like, I guess it was like a craziness, like really fast, like 100 and something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did shorthand at 120, and I think it was 110. I mean, I just could do that. So it's mindless. It's mindless when you're doing it. And then I'll look at it and I just go, well, that's amazing. That's good advice or whatever. But now I'm really good at talking. So it just comes out. And I'll just go, did I say that? Oh, that was really good. But I can't tell the difference if I'm channeling or not, unless it just really is out of character or really like, wow.
Right.
But what I do is a lot of warnings. Like I'll say something like, gosh, we haven't talked to my son about earthquake coming. And I go, why did I say that? And then the earthquake hits. So that type of thing happens all the time. Unexpected things come out. But it doesn't feel like, any big happening with me. It just is a natural thing at this point. But I'm so excited about the channeling thing because I always thought that we got to, like, to me, a little scary to let somebody come in and take you over when it's such a natural thing.
Well, yes, thank you for clarifying that, because I've never had that. I've never had that concern, because what comes through, I don't see it as a someone. I see it as love, and
that's great,
and a far higher, more evolved version of anything I know. But it is everything, and it's everyone. It's love, and so I just don't have that fear. And the funny thing is, and this hasn't happened for a little while, but from time to time it does. In the middle of channeling, I will see. I will have my eyes closed. I will see, and I'm not going to use the words here, but I will see some less than pleasant things, and I have no fear whatsoever. In fact, it's almost like seeing a hurting child. And it's like I actually, because of the frequency which I'm being brought into, which is well above fear, well above. At that point, you don't have the charge, you don't have the concern, you don't have the whatever, and you see these poor lost beings, not the people coming, but these energies that maybe have gotten connected with them. That are just looking for the way up and out. They were just looking for the way to light.
Yeah, Edgar Casey was talking about that. That's something that I want to try to replicate in my life, is going up and getting medical information and bringing it down. And he did say that you have to stay up and going up, because you will encounter these people that want to take you off or get involved, that you can see all kinds of things. And I said, well, I'm not afraid. And the greater good is to go up and get that information and bring it back. But that is the whole thing about getting up to that frequency and being able to commune with the higher things up there. And so, yeah, I know what you mean about that. And to me, if you are going for the light, you're in the light. Well, I'm just saying light because that's something everybody knows when they think of God's white light or whatever. You are protected. You do have those beings with you. Matter of fact, earlier when you were talking, I had somebody behind me pushing like a ball of light right here. And I go, well, somebody's here. And then they have moved on now. And I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but I was like, oh, somebody's here. And I feel like I'm helping facilitate this communication. So that was really neat. But yeah, I get what you say. You can have that feeling. And I love that you say it's love, because that's even better than just saying it's light or whatever, but we go up to the where the love is. And I love that. I said that. I love it. But I got to ask you this, because you are so passionate about what you do. And how did that evolve? I mean, you could have probably gone and done anything, and here you are.
I have different answers for that. I think, I'll just ramble then. When I first had the experience of witnessing channeling, it was just amazing. And I'm just talking about channeling, right? Because just getting the chance to talk to divinity directly, I don't know, I'd been waiting for that all my life. And so I went probably a bit crazy with it, and just telling everyone, oh, you got to do this, and so on. Got to experience this, and so on. I've been looking for that all this time. I'm passionate because I feel it does not take a lot for people to be, do, and have what they want/need. We overcomplicate things. There's, trades and businesses devoted to overcomplicating things. It's not complicated. It's quite simple. There's a bit of an unraveling and so on. And I so want that for people. If I'm passionate, it's because, and sorry to go there, but it's because I don't want people to hurt like I have or do. I don't want that for people. That's a lot of what drives me. And also, if I just go back to this, if I go back to the nature of conflict, challenge, and so on, I analogize it to, it's like if you think about the length of time you could hold an ice cube in your hand before it would melt, and it would be uncomfortable, wouldn't it? But if you just stayed holding it, it would melt in 5, 6, 7 minutes, say. That's really the duration of the sort of thing that we avoid. If we avoid
So true.
If we avoid dealing with something within ourselves, or resistance, or having a conversation, or whatever it is, the thing we're avoiding lasts minutes, but we can avoid that for 30 years and build up whole mechanisms around us. And I'm like, we could, with the little that we know, we could save someone 15 years. We could give them 15 years back to their life. And what would someone do with 15 years? They, oh my God, invent the iPhone or something like that. So I'm passionate about this because I believe in energy first, not energy exclusively. We spiritual people, we can get crazy with this. Not energy exclusively, but energy first. Energy first can open so much up. And the other reason I'm so passionate about it is I'm not in my own home right now. I'm stuck for props. But let's just say if I give you the analogy of a tree, okay, and we look at the branches of my hand, funny hand I have. I'm just looking at it. Anyway, look at the branches of like health and relationship, abundance, creativity, and so on, right? You notice the trunk is the same. The trunk is the same for all of these things. And that for me is connection. And that's why I call my Facebook page Connection and Alignment. I didn't call it love and purity because I don't always feel that. It would be inauthentic. I don't always feel good. I try to shift something to feel good, but I really do believe from connection comes everything. And with that everything, you can make someone else's day good, or you can make someone else's day bad. From connection, from how you feel. And it's so powerful and it's so simple. And that's why I'm passionate about it.
Oh my gosh. That is really where it should be, and I always tell everybody there's nothing more. I feel the best thing that you could do for anyone is to pray for them and to send healing and all of that. Healing is so selfless, really, and so wonderful to make another person feel better, or in fact a cure happens or whatever, because I don't limit. I'm just like, okay, we're going for the cure, but we do need to, in this society, in this world, we do need to help people. We do need to heal. The world needs to heal. And I used to I send healing when I get, a request on the website or whatever. I send the healing and everything. And one day I was like, why aren't I just doing the world? Why aren't I doing the world? You know, we need to heal. And there's so many different modalities to heal. And I love that the music way and clearing everything and getting the door into a person and getting that wonderful healing going. Joshua, you're a blessing to the world. You are.
Yeah.
Everyone is. Everyone is.
I just thank you so much for being here. And we have a few minutes left, and we're going to give away a Starbucks gift card. And so, Joshua, without saying anything, you're going to go think of a number from 1 to 100, including 1 and 100, any of those numbers, one number, and we're going to see if somebody gets close to it, and I will send them a Starbucks card. So you guys start posting a number from 1 to 100, including 1 and 100. Now, tune into Joshua. He's got the number right here. Let's see somebody once in a while to get the number. There it is. We got our trees. See if you can't get it from him, and I will send you a Starbucks e-gift card. I have fun with doing that because, you know, I get to send them the picture. So I go and see, you know, they like dogs or something. They get one with dogs on it or whatever. The Year of the Pig, that one, you know, has a little piggy on it. So we have a lot to do. So post the number and we'll see. Oh, I need to write this down. I forgot my part in this. It's Brittany is 35. Don't say anything, Joshua. Don't give anything away.
Yeah.
Hi, Louise. 54. That was a good year. Okay. So
see.
Between 1 and 100.
Only one time, everybody. Just one number.
We're going to take your first answer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be going 1, 2, 3, 4. I can type fast. Laura, do you have a number? Oh, she says, Joshua, you're a blessing to the world, she said.
Yeah.
He's 88. You are, and you guys, you know, you can book a session with him and you can get a reading. Oh my goodness. Before we go, you got to show those transparent tarot cards. I need them. And that'd be really cool. So we have a lot of viewers, so put your numbers on.
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's really kicking in here. Susie Q. She has 96.
Okay.
And Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Oh, hi, Barbara.
Pretty Barbara.
She has 11.
Ooh, lucky.
Carlos has 44.
Hey, Carlos. Carlos is in the house. I like 44. I'm going to win something on 44. I've always known that, and I'm still waiting.
Okay. And it looks like, that's it.
Okay, well, we're going to close it now. So, Joshua.
Wait a
minute. Wait.
Okay, last minute change. We'll do this for Louise. Louise really wants to choose 50 if she can change her answer.
Oh.
Right at the very end.
The Price is Right. If it was The Price is Right, I would be doing the number 12 or 36. Joshua, what's the number?
It's 100.
Oh, Susie Q. Susie Q. All you have to do is private message me on the fan page, and I will need your email address, and I will send you a Starbucks gift card. You guys don't get too excited. You can go out and get your favorite drink, but you won't be buying any for friends. But Susie Q, congratulations. That's really great. That's neat. Now, okay, I know we're keeping people over a few minutes, but Joshua, would you please show those neat cards?
All right. So these transparent tarot cards. I'll just give you an example. So I'll just get out of the way. So that's the sun there, and so let's say I pulled the nine of cups here. So and I would obviously do this flat
Oh, wow.
Okay, and then let's say I pulled them the seven of wands here. Okay, now the one of the trappings of something like tarot, which of course is an externality, is you get fixated on what a particular card is. But wonderful about this deck is you read them how they fall. You know, that's you're working with the present moment just as much. So that could be what it looks like. Or if they fell like this, you know, that's your. Oopsie, there we go. That's your reading, and that would mean something else. Or even if it was like this, and then if it's a full deck. You can get this deck online, but I used to make you laugh. They come with a board around them and a little bit of imagery and so on. So I sat in Kinko's for like an hour one day a few years ago and just chopped all the borders off them because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see I just wanted to see a
I like that you did that.
Yeah. So I use two different decks. I like to start with this one. It shows me something a little about the energy phases, processes, cycles, and so on that someone's working with, influencing them. I like to look at areas of expansion, areas of constriction, and so on. And then I would use a more traditional deck for things like choices, timing, people, that sort of thing. For me, now everyone's got a different way with it. For me, I believe as a reader, which for me is a healing art, I believe 50% of it is about the information you get, and the other 50% of the responsibility is conveying it, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
You know, I really believe we've got that responsibility. It's not just about telling information. That's my take, because I want someone to leave me or leave the session feeling complete.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's wonderful.
And I think we have the human responsibility to do it, and that's why I don't usually often channel for people one-on-one, because it's in a higher octave, and sometimes that information doesn't go in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the conversation, it actually helps to have the human conversation because we're more ready to converse at this level. I hope I'm making sense. And that by the way, is no disrespect to anyone that works in another way. It's not. As I said, you know, talking earlier on, and it's about uniqueness, finding your way. That I believe is most paramount importance.
Well, Joshua, you found a wonderful way, and it's just really great. I know when I teach tarot, one of the things that I do, a little shock factor, is when we're showing them how to put their cards out, I take the cards and I just toss them, throw them on the floor. And I said, now read them. I said, it's your tool to do it in any way you want to do it.
Yep.
There's no way. And they're all like, oh, my goodness. I said, here, just throw them. And I throw it. So you have found a wonderful way, and that you have that heart. You have the heart in it in everything that you do. And healing is one of the best things in the world. And everybody should be really exploring that. And I'm so glad that you're out there doing that. We're going to shout your, your praises out to get people to like your channel and to go read about you and get to know more about you and to follow you on your Facebook page. And I already do, and I've subscribed to everything.
Thank you.
And go to YouTube, you guys, and listen to the music, because I think you have some music on there. Yeah. So I thank you so much, Joshua, for coming.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much.
And really beg you to come on when Kevin's here.
That'll be fun.
Because he's missing this. Okay, Andy, you have a great week. How are you feeling? Are you a little under the weather?
I am. Yep, that's why I'm keeping it I'm saving my kind of nasally here, but it's not as bad as I thought it would turn out to be. And actually, I think I caught it just right. So.
Oh, good. I'm going to send you some elderberry syrup.
Oh,
I swear I'm all into all that great, pre whatever, so you don't get sick. Except for I did get a cold. I haven't anything for years. And then I got this cold in December, but it was mild. Hi, Larissa. Thank you for having the show. Oh, that's really great. Gidget. Hi, Gidget. Thank you. Love listening. Well, we're going to say goodbye. And thank you again, Joshua. Best of luck to you in your travels. Safe travels to you.
Thank you very much.
And we will see you again. And we want to say goodbye to everybody. Andy, it's your turn to say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Joshua.
Okay. Bye-bye.